on tonight. He's one of the leaders of Right Side PAC, a group of Republicans backing Joe Biden. He's a former White House communications director, not for very long, and of course was once a regular guest on this show. Yes, it's the Mooch. Anthony Scarramucci, you've just been called a vain, unprincipled, superficial dilettante. That's all true, isn't it?
Well, first of all, it's my first time back on Fox, so I appreciate you inviting me back, Stephen. Thank you. No, I've never been called a dilettante before. I don't remember the dilettante training. My dad, who spent 42 years as a crane operator and was an hourly worker, I don't remember the dilettante training at his dinner table at 5:15 every day. But that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. Very far from a dilettante. I watch your show often. I believe in conservative populism, but I believe in a tender side to conservative populism. And what you're leaving out of the argument here is that the president has actually failed on his mission. Number one, the economy is upside down. You have 13% unemployment for the African American community. Number two, he's politicized the science around the pandemic. You could have very easily, like New Zealand, South Korea, other countries that had responsible scientific-based leadership, led us out of the crisis, but he didn't want to go in that direction. And the last thing, and I'll let you talk, of course, because it's your show, but the last thing, the most important thing for me about the Republican Party, we are shrinking the tent, Steve. And so in order to expand the tent, we have to reframe and re-engineer the Republican Party. The current demographic base of the Republican Party under President Trump's control will become a minority party for a generation if we don't broaden that tent and start including people that don't look like you and me. Look, you can now speak. It's your show.
Well, I don't want to speak. I want to ask you. I want to ask you, Anthony.
From a dilettante.
I want to
and
ask
you know
you
I'm far from a dilettante.
to justify this position you've taken, because it seems to me the charge against you, I think, is that from those blue-collar roots that you described there, you climbed the ladder of opportunity, and with the policy choice you've now made, you are actually intending to kick it away from millions of working Americans.
Not
and
true.
I want to talk about the specifics there. Hang on a second. I want to talk about the specifics.
Sorry.
Right? And I want to talk about the economy in particular, because I think that is a central issue, and look to the future choices that the voters, the choice about the future that the voters have to make in November. Let's start with regulation, okay? An important issue for every small business out there, for jobs and growth. So in 2016, Anthony, you said that regulation is crushing growth. Now you want it much higher than even it was then. Why?
No, that's not what I want. I want a.
But it is, because you're backing Joe Biden, who wants that too. You're backing those policies.
The president.
If you don't want it, why are you backing the candidate who's planning to increase regulation?
Stephen, he's jam stuck at 40% because of the way he treats people. He bullies suburban housewives on his Twitter feed. Okay,
So
he can't do that as the American president.
This is what I'm talking about. You're literally confirming.
Hang
on. You're literally confirming what I just said, which is you're saying this whole thing is about him tweeting too much. Let's move on to another area.
No,
did you know that in Biden's tax plan,
it's about three categories?
Did you know that in the tax plan,
it's about three categories?
Did you know that in the tax plan,
the economy, the science, and the lack of inclusion in the party?
I'm trying to talk about the economy. You want to talk about Twitter? On the economy, are you aware?
I'm trying to address it.
You're not. Are you aware that in the tax plan that you are now supporting, the lowest paid will be hit harder than almost any other group? Did you know that?
Well, first of all, the tax plan has not been passed into law. You're
the
looking at a
proposal that you're
tax
backing.
plan.
Joe Biden's
the tax plan that President Trump put through. Listen, the president's tax plan that he put through in 2017 was very different from the way the tax plan looked in 2016. You know the rigorous democracy of the United States and the debate inside the United States that these quote-unquote plans, when they meet contact with the enemy, they never look like the way they are right now.
So your case, you're asking
if you want to
people,
address the economy's upside down. We're in a worse recession than any time since the 1933 depression.
And the question is, who's going to get us
and
out
that's
of it?
because of the mishandling of the pandemic.
It sounds to me like
he's not going to get us out of it. He's a divider. He divides people. He incenses people. He's creating hate in our democracy. And now you're a conservative. Look at what he's doing with these executive declarations.
I want to
It's
stay on
absolutely
the economy,
insane.
Anthony, because it's a
not
choice
even,
about
it's not
the
even
future.
inside the ambit of the Constitution.
It's a choice
Steve.
about the
You
future.
know that. You know that.
It
Steve.
sounds to me like you're saying people should support Biden in the hope that he won't actually do what he said he'll do on taxes.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's what you just said.
Not what I'm
Let's
saying.
move to another area.
No,
Corporate taxes.
you asked about the taxes. I'm telling you that they should not be supporting President Trump because he's destroying the Republican Party. He's destroying the fabric of the Republican Party at a time when that party needs an expansion of its demography, an expansion of the mosaic of the American people, to reset that Republican Party for a multitude of generations. He is not doing that. He is dividing people. He's incensing people. He's blowing a racist dog whistle. You don't want to talk about Twitter, but when you're talking about shutting down low-income housing in the suburbs, I had low-income housing in the area that I was in. A lot of those guys went on to live the American dream and become millionaires in the low-income housing area that I grew up in. It's a bunch of nonsense. You can't talk like that to the American people from the office of the
Oh, you
presidency.
can't. So why are you
you gotta bring people together,
Oh,
Stephen.
if that's the case,
I'm a blue-collar kid that did well. I lived a good part of the American dream. I want to bring that to the people I grew up with. By the way, that's what attracted me to President Trump in the first place. He hasn't delivered on any of that.
You talk about
where the
racism.
economy is now.
You talk
Look
about
at the way
racism.
he's handled.
hang on a second. Let me push you on that, because you go on about racism. You're now supporting a candidate who keeps saying racist things. He literally just said the other day he thinks black people are all the same. You ain't black if you're not voting for me. Earlier in his career, it's a long career of making racist statements, and now you're supporting it.
The president, you're right. The president has never made any gas. He hasn't done anything stupid.
It's not a gap.
You're right.
The repeated
But
patterns of Joe Biden's racist statements are
I
not a
don't
gap.
know. When he got down to South Carolina, okay, you know the old adage: if the racists think you're a racist, you're a racist. So
Somebody
you think Joe Biden's a racist? Go down to South Carolina and look at that primary win. I would make the case that the African American support that he had in South Carolina with Representative Clymer got him to the nomination.
What's interesting
So,
to
we
me,
can we can talk about a few gaffes that he's made. That's fine. A lot of people make gaffes. I made a pretty famous one. Okay, people do make gaffes, Stephen, and they recover from the gaffes, and their actions and the way they handle people and the way they treat people speaks volumes about them. The President of the United States is a bully. The President of the United States is
you've
a
said that many
divider,
times.
and he lies about the science.
You've said that many times, and
Lies
you're all
about
over the place.
science.
You're all over the place, and you talk about politics because you don't want to
I'm
talk
really
about
not that all over the
policy.
place. I'm like
You don't
right
want
in
to
the steel type box here.
You don't want
talking
to
about
talk-
three things: the pandemic, the economy. We're talking about regulation. We're talking about
You
regulation.
don't want to talk about the policy choices. You are now supporting. You talk about opportunity for working people and low-income people. You're now supporting a candidate who literally wants to shut down a school choice program that enables black and Hispanic low-income children to go to university. That's what you now want to do. You want to shut that down. Why?
Well, first of all, that's totally not true. And
It
then
is true. It is
secondarily,
in their
I'm
policy
playing the
document.
long game. I am
It
playing
is
the
true,
long game.
Anthony,
I can't
it is
speak
true.
for the other. I can't speak for the other never Trumper Republicans, but I'm playing the long game. I'm looking at the future. I'm looking at my millennial children, and I'm looking about how we're going to reknit that party so that we can make that an all-inclusive party. And the principles of that party, which have by and large helped America, can progress into the future. What we're doing right now, we've destroyed the economy. We're dividing the people. We're racially
You're
charging
repeating yourself.
everything.
I think we got
That's
the
not
point.
going to work.
I think we got the point.
I'm not repeating myself. I'm just telling you what the truth is.
Because what you don't want to do is engage with the substance of the argument, the choice on offer in this election between a policy agenda that will hurt the very
If
people
you're not listening,
that
I
you
just
say
engaged in
that
the
you
argument.
didn't.
Those are
You didn't.
short-term. Those are short-term issues.
It's easy for
Pushing
you to say
back.
that.
I'm
when-
telling you that those are short-term issues that will get resolved over a long period of time. If you end up with a minority party for the Republicans, forget about it. That's where we're heading right now. That's where we're going.
Okay, we're going to have
Okay,
to leave it there.
so
but-
his defeat, his eventual defeat in November, will cause this schism to ultimately go directionally in one direction or another. I'm hoping for a very positive, progressive direction.
All right.
Not progressive in the sense of the way the liberals talk about it, but the way Teddy Roosevelt talked about progressivism.
Okay, and
Remember,
we
he
have
was
to
the
go, I'm
founder
afraid.
of it, and he was a Republican.
Maybe what you're really
Nice
saying
to
is that
talk to you. Thank you for having
maybe
me
what
back
you're
on.
really saying is you like the idea
Thank you.
of positive populism, which is what we are all for on this show. Anthony, I think you made the wrong choice, but I hope we'll be friends at the end of it.
He's
Good to see you.
anti-populism. God bless you, man.